Hey guys, Saint Mom here from Professional Gamers Gaming. I'm here with Spearmint and Coach Bubkiss, and today what we're talking about in this video is the response that Blizzard gave the community about implementing vanilla servers. So, hope you enjoy.
What do you think about this, Coach Bubkiss? Would you play on a Pristine Realm? As it's described, just flat that. Turn off leveling acceleration, no character transfers, no heirloom gear, no boosts, no recruit a friend bonuses, no World of Warcraft tokens, and no access to cross-realm zones or group finder.
The
Would you
question
play
is,
on that?
are they? They're not making a legacy server. They're making it a
No.
server that also gets up to 110 again.
I think that's what I gather from what they're saying, is that there's going to be a server with certain things turned off on it, but it's still going to be current content.
With no flying. Oh wait, no, it doesn't say that.
They didn't say that.
I hope they don't have flying mounts.
Well, they didn't have flying mounts in Warlords of Draenor for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Is this, I wonder, is this
they'll
going to
have
be
flying.
level 1 to 110?
Like
Yeah.
because
gonna
if
be
if
that
you
would be
wanted to
pretty
roll
cool.
on that server, you can't transfer a character, so you'd have to go from 1 to 110.
That would be
I
pretty cool.
I think that would be a great thing for those who are like the hardcore legacy gamers, because that's a place for them to go and like almost it's kind of like a respect thing. They'll be like, oh man, that dude's 110, sick, bro. Just
Well,
like there's
yeah.
just that community where they'll be happy to be in that community rather
Right.
than
And then
Yeah.
it would be just a hard mode World of Warcraft. Not hard mode, but just it would be harder, but it would take more time, and you would have to, so without the heirloom gear or the character boosts and group finder, you would have to go out in the world, you have to quest. If they boost up the health of the enemies, you would probably have to group up with people, so that means you'd have to reach out to the community. You'd also have to do that with dungeons. You couldn't just do group finder for a dungeon. You'd have to make friends, and you'd have to find a group again. Same thing with raids. You'd have to find a guild. You'd have to find a hardcore raid group. It would bring the community back together on that realm. And then when you get a raid gear, when you get that gear that you get from those boss drops, when you see that guy running around in Ironforge, you're like, oh wow, like it was that much harder to get that piece, because you can't just do raid finder.
Well, it wasn't really
awesome.
harder to get the piece. It was just harder to level up. And it's not that it was harder to level up. It just takes longer to level up.
It took you had to devote a lot more time to get that gear.
But Chris, this isn't Legacy Vanilla. This is, all they're doing is turning off heirlooms, and they're turning off group finder, and they're turning off like extra XP
Well,
things.
it's that much harder because you can't just, now if you want to get into a raid, you just do raid finder. You do, group finder, get your blues from the heroics, and then you do raid finder, get fully epicked out, and then you do a raid. You can do cross server raids.
Yeah, but
now
you still
it's
have
gonna
to
be-
you have to find a group for the cross server raids, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not through looking for raid. That's its own thing,
yeah.
which is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
That little Craigslist thing they have for finding groups. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, but that would just be changed back to like general chat on that server or trade
I guess
chat?
so. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so it'd be somewhere. I like it. I really like this idea. But looking at Twitter and in reaction to the forums, it seems like the community's kind of being for this Pristine Realm, and the other people are bashing it and saying we only want vanilla.
Yeah, I think it's a start. I
think
think
it's a
it
good
is
start.
what Coach Bubkiss say. It's a good place for people who want that type of community. Maybe this type of server will help foster that. Personally, that's not a server for me, and I would not play on it. I'm not interested in leveling another character from 1 to 100 again. I've done it 6 times already. Like there's nothing more for me to gain out of that leveling experience. So just prolonging it's not helping me at all.
What if they added achievements?
Doesn't matter.
I don't need any more achievements. I have all my feats of strength
That's
from vanilla
interesting.
still.
So if you wanted to play on this server, you'd have to go the long haul.
Yeah, you'd have to start from 1 and
So
you'd have to go.
110.
And it would still be pretty quick leveling
Yeah.
because of all the leveling changes they made throughout the process of getting to Warlords of Draenor and eventually Legion. So it'll still be quicker than vanilla, which is a good thing because now you're not going from 1 to 60. Now you're going like twice
Yeah.
that basically.
I think it would
So-
be. I think the hardcore fans would like it, including
Yeah.
myself. I would like it because what you said, Coach. You know, you see a guy at 110, you're like, oh, like that guy plays a lot.
Yeah, I mean that genuinely. I remember when I was younger,
Yeah.
and I looked at these guys with the full gear and like obviously no transmog or anything, but their gear looked like dope, and it's just like, damn, son.
The things I'm worried about are the numbers, you know, the scaling. I hope they somehow find a way to make it scale constantly, not exponentially. Like I remember in vanilla when I was like level 48,
Yep.
and it was so much fun because like at that level when you had a mount, you would be like a core member of like a raid on the Barrens, and like if a 60 arrived, if you had 3 level 50 guys, you could take down that level 60.
Right.
Which I really liked instead of just being ungodly at level 100. If you're
It
level
doesn't
100,
sound like it's going to be like that.
you think they're
from
just going
what
to
they
keep the same
described.
numbers?
Well, I'm just going by if a Pristine Realm came out tomorrow that was literally just what they described in their paragraph. No character transfers, no heirlooms,
they don't
no
do that. I
boosts,
hope they
no
really
recruit of
think about
friends, no
this.
WoW tokens, no cross realm, and no group. If that was all they did, then that server would not interest me.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to do a lot of thinking and a lot of tweaks to this if they're going to make it work. So what would they have to do to make you want to play on it?
To make me want to play on it, it would have to be Legacy because I'm not interested in doing 1 to 100 again. I'm not interested in doing leveling anymore, to be honest.
Well, isn't that what you would do on Legacy?
Yeah, but it would be a whole different game because you're playing on like a vanilla thing. But anyways, I plan to make a whole separate video on vanilla WoW and what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see classic vanilla. I'd like to see vanilla 2.0.
I still hope they can do a vanilla server because I would love to play that too, for the nostalgic reasons. I want to feel that. I just want to play the game. You know, that was the game 10 years ago. Just like putting in N64 Mario or Super Smash Bros. I just want to see it in its original state. But I think that I would be interested in this too. And I think if they did this properly, they could please maybe not all of the hardcore fans, but you know, definitely some of them.
Yeah, I feel like
better
it
than
does
doing
have the
nothing.
potential to create a good community.
Yeah, it would definitely create a good community again, and it would be you know, similar to the community that Vanilla had. I would like them to see Transmog taken off on this realm.
Really.
Yes, because there was some YouTuber that I was watching. He made a really good point. And when Transmog wasn't there, you know, you could see clearly that whoever had like the best raiding gear, you could just see it, and you're like, oh, like that's it. You know, you're not, instead of doing a raid boss and getting the gear and then just transmogging it immediately because you know it's not going to look as good as what you had before.
What's really interesting about that is that it's like what you kind of want is a class system. You kind of want people to be in their you know, you don't want people
That's a good point. You want the noobs to be in their shit gear, and you want the raiders to be in their good gear.
Yeah.
You want
And
the
you want it to
credit for
show
doing the
visually.
work. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but that's kind of like I think an important distinction for some thoughts around this whole legacy talk is like people they want it to be known that they are serious about the game, that they're putting their effort in, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think
it's
that's
nothing wrong with that.
kind of an interesting point.
That's actually a really good point, Coach Bubkiss. That's a great insight. I, for one, I like Transmog, and I would not want to see it go away.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it gives people control over what their character looks like, and I think it opens up a lot of role-playing opportunities that was
Yeah, there's
previously
definitely
not
some good
available.
things.
And it offers just more character customization to really immerse yourself in your character. If you want to play a rogue that looks like just a simple badass ninja maybe with like really simple black leather armor that's probably like the Defias leather armor, something like that, and you want to be level 110, well, you're not going to find armor like that. You're going to find all the fancy stuff
Yeah.
from all the raids and the dungeons. But if you
Well,
just want that simple armor, you can't have it
Yeah.
without transmog.
They should.
So
I
I
mean,
think it opens doors for people to really make the character they like and create a story for their character.
you're totally right about that. Maybe they could add in an option to just turn it off if you wanted to.
Well, you could do that anyways. Just don't transmog anything.
Yeah, it's true.
You
I mean, but with
per
other
server,
people.
like for each server, do you mean that they would turn it off, or do you mean per person? 'Cause
Oh,
per person,
per
that
person.
doesn't.
I get
make-
what you're saying. So I
person.
think what Saint Mom is saying is you would have like an option in the interface menu that says turn off transmog, and if you click that checkbox, then nobody's transmog would pop up for you. It would just be whatever armor they're wearing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
sounds
could be an
kinda
option too,
lame.
but then I guess that's kind of what's the
I
point.
thought that was a really good idea because I think I would do that. I think I would at least try it. Just another cool thing that they could add. I mean, if they can add pet battles, Pokemon, they can add a transmog.
I'm kind of disappointed by pet battles. I think they're silly.
Yeah.
It's just another
they're
thing
cool.
for people to do in World
Yeah.
of Warcraft,
Yeah.
really, if you like it.
I think it appeals.
I don't really get into it either.
appeals to certain people, and I don't mind it. I think they're fun.
Some of the pets are cool looking.
Yeah.
Agreed. I just, honestly, like a lot of this game can be silly or really cool, so I shouldn't really be discriminatory against one part of it, just because maybe I don't like it. But still,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it made me feel a lot better having this post, and I really think it's in the right direction. I'm excited to see what happens when this, the development of this Pristine server, if it occurs, or if all the fans, if too many people are just yelling at them saying, no, we want vanilla. I hope they work with the Blizzard more than fight Blizzard.
Yeah, it sounds like Blizzard has reached out to the Nostalrius devs
Yeah.
from their note, so they'll probably have, I don't know in what regard they've reached out to them, but maybe they're using them as some kind of advisor to this Pristine server or situation, or subject matter experts. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of people want classic vanilla or nothing, though.
Yeah, I think a bunch of people want that too.
But Pristine servers could be a band-aid in the
it's
meantime.
better
or
than
something.
nothing. I mean, Blizzard seems like they're trying with this thing, and if they have the Nostalrius developers working with them, I think they can do a pretty good job and to voice the wants of the hardcore players to go into this Pristine realm. If it's as hard as Blizzard is making it to actually go back and make the vanilla server.
I am inclined to believe Blizzard. This note that they penned seemed honestly genuine to me.
Yeah.
And
I think so too.
believed all the excuses that they gave and the things that they were concerned about. Those were things that we talked about between us or talked about in our previous video.
Yeah.
So it's not like these reasons were unreasonable. It's like, yeah, of course, they need to protect their IP or they could lose it in the future. Mm-hmm. Of course, this is harder than everyone else that is pushing for these servers is making it out to be. Of course, it took the Nostalrius devs, 2 years to do? It's still going to take Blizzard a long ass time too.
I think Blizzard could definitely do it, but it would take too much resources to be business worthy or economic.
Exactly.
Let me ask you guys a question.
What's up?
Do you think it's reasonable for Blizzard to even to make a legacy server? Do you think, in your honest opinion, for them to make it knowing the position they're in, knowing what it would take to do, and knowing that video games nowadays are not necessarily going to, successful ones may not be legacy WoW. Do you think that it's reasonable for them to actually even make it?
Reasonable in what way?
If let's say you're CEO or you're just the dude in charge, they're like, we're putting it on you
To make that decision.
We're putting it on you, Spearman. We're putting it on you right now. Make this decision. Take in every single factor that you've been given. What do you think? Do you think it's reasonable for Blizzard to make a legacy server?
As CEO of Blizzard, if I was given the choice, and if as CEO you put the company number one and the shareholders number one, so those are the people you are responsible to, I would
You
say
have
no.
to, but legally you have to.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say if I was CEO, I would say no, because going back to what we kind of said in the video earlier in this video and in our previous video, it's just too much effort, too much time, too much money for what I don't think is going to be a good return and potentially negative return in the future.
Yeah, I would say I would have to disagree with you. If I was CEO, I would think of it more as I would get more benefit out of pleasing these fans and just releasing a vanilla server, because that's what they want. I'd give them what they want, and I'd put the money into it. Maybe it's not economic, maybe it's not the best business decision, but I think that it would pay off because you would please the fans, those hardcore fans, and you'd kind of mend the community, or the hate in the community that's building up. You would heal that, and then that would pay off in the end when you release your other expansions. And also, I would also do the Pristine Realm. I'd have a team on the Pristine Realm and have a team on the Nostalrius, or the Vanilla Realm. And I'd have the Nostalrius team and Mark Kern kind of leading those two things. I think that would turn out to be, I think it would be good.
What would you do, Coach? What would your decision be as CEO of Blizzard?
I can't really pretend to know how much that person has to do. I'm sure it's like unbelievable, but I don't think that I would open a legacy server, not right now. I think this goes back to our original talk, which lasted a long time. I think that, let's say Blizzard or WoW really was going down the tubes, but there was enough people to keep it going and keep a certain amount of people employed and keep the business, like they're getting revenue from it, but they don't really see that it's going to be productive to create new content for it. I think that would be the time to do it. So,
yes, I agree with you on that one. But today, as it stands,
I would not.
No,
I totally understand both of your
Coach, you're being so reasonable today. What
Hey
happens?
man, like, you know what? I had my my Wheaties this morning.
Did you? Oh, I'm glad.
You had a
Awesome.
good breakfast.
The fans are not going to flame you on the YouTube comments tonight.
I suspect they still will.
Yeah. Well, and once again, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, me too.
And
No doubt about it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to make a leveling series for a Pristine server, if they do come out with one, I would play on it.
I would play
But
on it too. With
I'm-
you guys, with friends.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it'd be so much fun.
With friends, I'd do it. With friends, I would do it.
We would go.
Maybe-
we would go all the way
maybe
to
I wouldn't do
110.
But maybe I would.
Yeah.
Or maybe I wouldn't. I'm not sure.
I would
It
also
sounds
play on a
painful,
vanilla.
actually.
I would also play on a vanilla server. I'd play on a vanilla and a Pristine. When I got bored of the Pristine Realm or regular WoW, I would play the vanilla server. I think there's a way to make a lot of money, both doing everything. I think there's a way that this can all be solved if they implemented a vanilla server. But I do like the Pristine Realm too. It's a great idea. If we can just have, if there's no way to have the vanilla server, I feel a little better knowing that they tried and they made the Pristine Realm, because it is better than nothing. And sometimes you just got to take what you can get.
I've actually been leveling a character, and I haven't gone through Dungeon Finder yet. And some of the zones, they have really good storylines. And I think people miss out on them by just spamming Dungeon Finder to level up.
Yeah, I think so too.
The
Beautiful
storylines
zones.
are even better than vanilla. Like
Yeah.
vanilla barely had any storylines, but all the zones now have a cohesive main quest storyline that guides you through the zone, and they're really interesting if you read them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
honestly, I like a lot of the lore in the story. If, you want to get in your own zone for like a couple hours and like take your mind off of everything in the real world, which I think Worldcraft will do well,
It's done well for
It's done for years.
10 years.
Yeah.
I think it is a really good idea. Just like turn everything off and go questing and actually enjoy everything. Read the text. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part. Read the text. Don't just go searching
read.
immediately.
Yeah, don't accept and then follow the
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, and then
the
follow the
arrow
number
that,
because that's not fun
shows
either.
you where to go.
Yeah.
It's really not. It's just that's a grind, and it's just so easy to grind when you could actually kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
You know,
Read it,
does
aloud.
take longer though.
Read
as
it
well.
aloud in a British accent.
what?
That's what you should do.
You know, you can. There's an add-on. I think it's called Storyteller, which changes the UI for quests, where it shows your character talking with the quest giver in like this separate chat box, and the quest text like comes out in a slow kind of fading motion to it, so you read it as the text comes along, and it comes out as more of a conversation. So it'll give you like the first sentence that the NPC says, then you click and it gives you the second sentence, the third sentence, or whatever. And so it seems like the NPC is like telling you a story or having a conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
It helps.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's a really good way to play WoW. Like,
Yeah.
To actually enjoy you know how much like creativity is actually put into this game that isn't given. It's not the just the what everyone does not appreciate. That's what it is. You know, I'm trying to think of a good little metaphor
Yeah,
for
the
that.
Pristine server would do that. It would.
I don't know if it
give that
would.
opportunity.
I think it would force people to play slower. I don't necessarily think that it would make people enjoy the lore more. Maybe like by accident more people would start to enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
think it
they're
would
kind
be
of
a side effect, but primarily I think so many people have just leveled already once, twice, three times their level 100s that leveling another character from 1 to 100 and then 100 to 110, they're probably just going to try to burn through those zones as fast as possible.
Which like what's the point then?
But on the way, they may get some of that experience through osmosis.
Indeed.
All right, let's. I think we've talked enough. I think we got our points across, or not points, but we had a good discussion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's end it there.
Okay.
Good talk.